and a few others. So with a 29-point lead going into the third quarter, I'll hand you over to Johnny Whitten.
Thanks, John. Well, I think it's only a few players that are holding Scarborough together at the moment. I think if we didn't have Lee Govan out there for one, Scarborough could be in a bit of trouble. He's probably had 8 to 10 kicks in 2 quarters, which is a top effort. Well, that's about all I've got to say, Tom.
Yeah, well, you know, at this stage, can you see CBC coming back? Because I think, Widow, that Scarborough, you know, really on their play, I can't see why they shouldn't be further in front. Is there a possibility any moves that CBC could make, or do you think we've virtually got the better of them?
Well, Scarborough have had most of the play, but a few, as you say, a few mistakes in the forward line, a few drop marks, and that just haven't paid off.
Well, okay, and as we say that, the umpire bounces the ball to continue the second half of football in this 1983 grand final, with Govan getting the first tap, and it's going Scarborough's way. And Steve Summers has the first free kick of the second half. He's just over the centre line and uses a long torpedo punt up towards the full forward line. CBC have the numbers in defence and come out very solidly through the agency of Cant. Cant gets it onto his left boot up towards the half-back flank for CBC, and they get out of trouble with a long left foot kick out towards the wing position. Scarborough, they come back through the agency of one of their better players out there in Craig Lawrence, onto his right foot. Bit unusual for Craig, but he's got the ball down to Gavin Radford onto the half-forward flank. Radford too far out to score, but will obviously drive it deep into Scarborough's attacking zone, and with a long kick, a bit slightly off target, but it's into the pocket. Paul de Grucci's still got that opportunity as CBC are fighting it out there as a free kick, I think, and it's going to go Scarborough's way, and Paul de Grucci has the kick and an opportunity to score.
That was very good use of the body then, Tommy, by Paul de Grucci. He was just about forced over the line with the ball, but used his body to bring it back in and stays that free kick. He's trying to screw kick from that right forward pocket, and the arms are up in the air. No, unfortunately, he has kicked another point, so we go to 6 goals 12. Scarborough, 3 goals straight to CBC on the Castle Hotel scoreboard. Yes, your comments earlier, Tommy, I think it's just the scoreboard shows where Scarborough being let down somewhat with the points. There's a long kick by CBC and well, it looked like a good mark. Unfortunately not paid by the umpire. The ball goes to deck and will be thrown up. A bit of an altercation there, I think, on behalf of a couple of the players. Matic was tied up in that for CBC. Lee Govan used his body well and hits the ball forward down over the half-forward flank by Jay Lawrence from CBC. Comes out, kicks it up. Gary Zillner's there. He's on the ground. He comes around on the wing. High right foot screw kick, and up goes Gary Budd and dropped another mark. Unfortunately, Gary's dropped 2 or 3 earlier in the game, but Craig Lawrence does a beautiful exhibition blind turn, handballs over to Gary Zillner, who loses it somewhat, and good defence by CBC brings it out onto the wing. And GC comes right up from the half-back flank, overruns the ball, but was well shepherded by his skipper, Kimmy Barnard. Recovers well, kicks it straight across the middle of the ground to Lee Govan. Lee Govan takes a chest mark and settles it down. I think he'll kick the ball long.
Lee Govan on the line of the half-forward, drives it long, looking for Grooch, overran it, unlucky, good mark to CBC. CBC going to take their time, just going back, looking for a lead. Just found one up to half-forward to Scarborough. Kim Barnard at the back. Gary Zillner got plenty of time to look. Sends it in centre, looking for Craig Lawrence. Good. Oh no, it's play on.
Looked a mark from here, Johnny, didn't it?
Yeah. It was a bit unlucky, and he's given a free kick to CC. Well, I don't know how he got that, Tom. Cairns kicks the ball down the wing. CBC have got it. Stephen Summers ducks his head. What good handball. Well played, Steve Summers. Over to Craig Lawrence. Craig Lawrence drives it long. Looking for Gary Budd. But Gary Budd just... You can't beat 2 players. CBC drive it along again. Up to the wing. And CBC take a good mark. The umpire's paid it. Andy McPhee's got the ball.
He's got the ball, Johnny, on the centre line, and he'll be looking to drive the ball deep into CBC's attack, and they need a goal desperately to get back into the game at this stage. There goes McPhee's kick up towards the half-forward line for CBC, but Scarborough have the numbers and come out very solidly through Leach. Darren Leach up towards the centre of the ground. Paul Kilgrim takes a very strong mark. Play on the is a call, and that's the way he goes over towards Kimmy Barnard, who has played a good game so far all day today, and there sees a lead over towards Ben Goff, a good mark by Ben Goff. He breaks clear of his CBC opponent. Bottles a copy bush a bit. Oh, geez, that was a bit of a mix-up there.
But on the play, Tom.
There's a bit of a blue on behind the play, but we'll stay with the actual play as Scarborough have an opportunity through Barnard. He kicks long towards half-4 line, but there is a big blue down there. Johnny Whitten, did you see what happened?
Yeah, I saw Ben Goff cop one in the head. CBC, they're just not out there to play football, I don't think, Tom. They've got a few blokes that just instead of playing the ball, they play the man, which I don't think helps the game at all.
Johnny Rats, did you see that altercation at all, or were you following the play as well?
Well, you know, Tommy, all my footy life, I've never been involved in altercations on the ground. I believe in attacking the ball. Just goes to show there's a lot of people out there in white, and it seems amazing that so many punches can be thrown without one of them throwing a glance in the direction behind play. But as we say, that the umpires have seen fit to throw the ball down on the left half forward for Scarborough.
Yeah, Johnny, your comment there about not being in any fights, you're in a fair few blues as far as I heard.
You've got to be in the play, Tommy. That was the difference between the two of us. And as we say that the ball came out to Kimmy Barnard, he comes across and missed kicks. It was supposed to go across the centre half forward. Gary Budd does a blind turd. Well done for the big fella. Screws it down towards Paul de Grucci, who tries in vain, chucks himself down on the deck. But CBC come out of it. Well tackled by de Grucci. That's following the ball. Gary Zillner's going to go straight through here. 2 players got caught in the third. Craig Lawrence is there, no assistance. Ben Goff is in there, he's putting pressure on him. He's a strong little fella, Johnny Whitten.
Right, thanks, John. The ball's on Scarborough's half-forward flank, and we're waiting for the umpire to throw it up. Gary Budd to take the ruck. Lee Govan just drop him back, waiting for the kick behind the play. Gary Budd goes up, gets it out to Ben Goff. Ben Goff, gutsy play, down, hands it out. Gary Zillner. Zillner quickly onto his boot. This is the Gavin Radded. He can't drive it away. But the umpire's going to ball it up. Well, Lee Govan playing a top game, and he's, probably best on ground at this stage, and he's going to go up for the ruck.
Seems to be just about on the ball the whole game so far, I think. Has he had much of a rest at all?
No, well, he hasn't given Gavin Radford much of a run on the ball at all.
He's doing it well. Anyway, Kimmy Barnard gains possession of the ball and sees a lead over towards the half-4 line in Kylie. Is it over there? He fights to try to gain possession of the ball. CBC, they're very solid in defence. They've kept Scarborough out with a numerous attacking moves, and once again they've been awarded the free kick deep in the last line of defence, and an opportunity again to repel one of Scarborough's attacks. That's the way the pass goes from CBC out towards that. No mark given by the umpire. Seemed a bit rough on the Scarborough fella, but anyway, through comes Scarborough again. They've got the numbers everywhere to gain possession of the ball now. It's tapped forward. The umpire's seen a free kick, an infringement behind the play, and CBC once again have the opportunity to go into their attacking zone. There's a kick up towards Gorsey, I think it is, who gains possession. He's got about 5 yards on his Scarborough opponent, and an opportunity to give them an attacking move, and I think there's been a kick given down the ground against Scarborough, and an infringement. Kylie, I think, was it behind the play, Johnny Rats?
Yes,
I think
Kylie, one of his sorry Tom, I think Kylie, one of his late tackles, he was involved in one of those when young Dobber had the ball in the second quarter right in front of goals, and Kylie saw fit to entertain some of the spectators and give Scarborough the opportunity, or lose the opportunity for Scarborough.
Collins has got an opportunity to goal from here, and I think, as I say that, he's just done that, and that's a badly needed one from the CBC point of view, and Collins brings up a much needed goal and brings them closer to Scarborough, with the scoreboard reads a Castle Hotel scoreboard, 6 goals, 12 Scarborough to 4 goals straight CBC, and we're at the 10-minute mark of the third quarter in this 1983 Premiership, and not forgetting Johnny Rats at Scarborough have never ever won a Colts Premiership. Hope the boys aren't going to lose concentration at this point of view.
Yeah, but there again, Tommy, they've beaten this side by more than 39 points every time they've met, so I think realistically they are favourites to win this. So if we say that, CBC get the ball out, bit of a high tackle, bit of a scrimmage, the ball's knocked out by Craig Lawrence, just about has his neck torn off. He's another very good player for Scarborough, as has been all year. He goes back, he can see a lead from Steve Summers, chooses to ignore it and kicks it long and high up to Gary Budd to use his height and strength. One hand only, Gary. Steve Summers got the run of the ball, throws himself into it, as does Gary Zillner. The ball comes knocked out by CBC. Ben, hard tackle, very gutsy player. Straight for the ball. The opposition didn't like it. As we say that, Kyle's involved in this. Now he's going for the ball this time, hopefully. It's a long run for Kyle, and he's out there. Who's he got out there for support there, Peter? It's a full forward, Michael Michael Pearson. He's been dragged off the ball. A scrum's developing here. CBC have come out with it.
Gavin Radford, I think, out there. Johnny got the hand pass over to Gary Budd, actually, who's been tackled very solidly. A free kick, and it's going to go Gary Budd's way.
Gary Budd would be about 30 metres out. I think this would be a very valuable goal for Scarborough if he can kick it. Pulling his socks off.
Hate to be selling you land if he's only 30 metres out, Johnny Whitten.
Actually, he's reminiscent of Tommy's pace, Gary Budd, at the moment, isn't he, Johnny Whitten?
Yeah, that'd be about right. Oh, bad kick by Gary Budd, and it's out in the full.
Don't say it's reminiscent of my kicking either.
Would have been a very handy goal for Scarborough, but CBC anyway have got the kick out of the forward pocket for Scarborough. CBC drive it long. Well, not a very good kick, high in the air. Craig Lawrence under it. Bad luck, nearly a good mark. Lee Govan in there.
Lee Govan's in everything, isn't he, Johnny?
He's been there, done that. Well, umpire's going to throw it up.
Become right scrambly, hasn't it?
Yeah, not as good a quarter as what the first half was, Tom.
I think you've got to look at the weather too. You know, it's getting pretty warm out there for the players, and as we say that, the ball has bounced up the centre half forward. Bit of a scrim. Lee Govan once again gets a handball out, not accepted, and it's kicked out on the... Whoops, kicked out by CBC. Straight in the hands of Kyle. He's getting a bit hot again. He's looking for his 15 metres, and he's done that. I think Kylie will probably load up a big one here. The Castle Hotel scoreboard showing 6-12 Scarborough to 4 straight CBC, and I think Kylie will probably change that score after he comes through. He's waving the ball around like he normally does. Wait on it. Trajectory's right. It looks like a good kick, but yes, through for the minor scoreboard. 6-13 to 4 goals on the Castle Hotel scoreboard.
It wasn't a bad kick from that distance, Johnny. Actually, it would have been a good 50 metres nearly. As we say, that full back from CBC drives them out of trouble, but Scarborough seem to have more determination at this moment, have the opportunity in the play. Anyways, we see DeGrucci, I think, get the hand pass over to Stevie Summers. He lines up from only 10 metres out, slams it onto the right boot, and that was a very good goal from Scarborough's point of view, and got that one back that CBC got a few minutes ago. Answered every challenge.
I think Gavin Ranford was involved in that too, to get that ball into the full forward line. Johnny Whitten, was that correct?
Yeah, he was there. Good handball from
Paul DeGrucci, I think it was, and
over to Steve Summers.
Over to Steve Summers, and he made no mistake from that 10-15 yards out. That goal gives Scarborough again a handy break, as we mentioned before. 7-13 to 4 straight, 31 points it is, and we're at the 13-minute mark of the 1983 grand final between Scarborough and CBC at Lathlain Park. As we say, that the ball by Gerard by CBC with a long tap into their forward line, and it was a good tap, but Scarborough again. Gary Zilner's been in everything in the 15 minutes that he's been on the ground. Handballs again, good play by Gary Zilner. The ball's up towards the wing position. The CBC have an opportunity, but no, out comes Scarborough through the agency of Pearson. Mike Pearson back onto the ground again after being off the ground in the second quarter. He pushes the ball up towards our forward line, but CBC repel that attack and have an opportunity to go into their half forward. There's that man again, Govan, everywhere today so far. Gets the ball over towards the captain, Barnard. Barnard sees a loose player up the field. This is over towards Steve Summers. He doesn't look properly. There was leads everywhere, but again Scarborough have the opportunity with a long left foot kick. I tell you what, and that would put him in van for the goal of the day. I think that he was 45 yards out on his left foot, and a magnificent effort by Gary Budd as he got onto that and hit it straight through the centre for another goal, Johnny. That was
top play by the whole lot, even down to Michael Herman's down in the back pocket there. He came up the half-back flank. So did GC, Gary Zilner, Pearson. They were all involved in that. Killer out in the wing. It was a good team effort, and that's the type of thing in grand finals that inspires a side. And touch wood, I won't make any predictions at the present time. I think I did it 2 years ago and we were in trouble, but Scarborough looking very good at the present time.
Ball's bounced by the umpire in the centre. Lee Govan doesn't have to contend with anyone. Gets it out to Gary Zilner. Good play over to Pearson. Pearson fighting for it. CBC come out with it. It's out to CBC's half forward flank. Scarborough come out with it. Well played. Handballs in front of him. We got Kim Barnard coming in. TC picks up. Handballs over to Terry McGee. Ooh, CBC in it. There's a free kick.
I think their captain Ledger, I think, got the free kick there for over the shoulder, Johnny.
Yeah.
Pretty obvious one, Widow.
Yeah, it wasn't very well played by Scarborough then, giving him that free kick like that. It's a short pass over to CBC. It's on about their half forward. It's Turner for CBC. on their half-forward line. Drives it long, but Terry McAdam dropped one he should have taken. A bad handball. We've got CBC's coming in and it's out of bounds.
Yeah, I think Terry's a bit unfortunate there, Widow. I think he's looking straight into the sun. I think that's something we have to look at as ex-players, if we can use that phrase.
I don't think we have to look at it, Johnny. The players might, but we're up in the grandstand, don't forget.
Good one, Tommy. Okay, Scarborough get the ball out here. Gary Zillner, he's been in everything, as Widow said. Out to Timmy McCallum. Good little chip shot up to the captain, Barnard up on the wing. He's held, he was going to play on, the lead's on across the centre of the ground. Steve Summers is there, you've got to go confidently. Yes, he stood his ground. Gary Budd's there on his own. Whoa, Michael Pearson, good shepherding, Mike Pearson. That allowed Killer to get out in his own.
Should be a report there, Tom.
Yes,
Mike Pearson's been hit behind the play.
Yeah, we won't worry about the umpire seeing that, and the ball's up in the forward line, and De Grooch is fighting. He's on his own here. Whoa, well done. Straight around. Now, whether Mike Pearson caught one or not, Widow, the thing was he went out of his way to shepherd, and that is supportive of the Colts at the present time. The old fella, no, the Flying Elephant, the coach, has got them backing up and supporting each other very well for this grand final.
Yeah, Mike Pearson certainly set up that goal, John, by shepherding the guy off. Beautiful shepherd, letting Scarborough open the play up and just getting a goal very easily.
Very courageous play by Steve Summers as well there, and Paul De Grooch, that's his second goal for the game, and him and Gary Budd feature among the goal scorers. Both kicked two. Other goal scorers while we have this break in play are Dowd, Barnard, Govan, Pearson, all with one each. But the two to get into the out of the single figure was, as we mentioned, Budd and De Grooch. Seems to be an altercation with the Scarborough runner, I think. Anyway, that's been sorted out now, and the ball's bounced again, once in the again in the centre of the ground, and Govan again with a big tap, but CBC come back with an opportunity.
Bunga got that, Tommy.
Bunga, is it? Yeah, Peter Bengoff with a long kick up towards the half-forward line, and I tell you what, there's a struggling mark. Is the umpire going to play it? No, he's not. Probably a debatable decision anyway. Now he has made a decision, and it's going to go, which way is it?
Craig Radford.
Gavin Radford, is it?
No, sorry, Gary Budd, Tom.
Gary Budd it is, actually. Yeah.
It was reminiscent of the kick in the second quarter, Tommy. He's closer this time than he was kicking down the other end. He kicked about a 60-metre point then, so maybe this could be a 45-metre goal. Would that be right?
No, I don't think he could kick this distance.
Slight breeze against him, Tom.
I don't think he could kick this distance. Anyway, we'll wait on Gary.
Kick it, Gary.
Kick. He's played very well, actually. Yeah, it drops well short into the forward line there and forced through offhands for 1 point.
Yeah, it dropped about a yard short, but not to worry, Tommy.
As I said, Johnny, well short. That moves Scarborough on to 9 goals 14 to CBC 4 straight, and as I say, it's at the 17-minute mark of this third quarter, and CBC yet to register a point. Obviously their opportunities in the forward line have been limited, and they have made the most of them when they have ventured into their forward line. As we say that, the ball's been kicked back into Scarborough's half-forward line, and CBC have an opportunity, but Mike Pearson, he's played very well in this third quarter. Takes a very strong mark, sees a lead further afield. Ooh, set his team mark up slightly, and but Scarborough have the opportunity. This is Barnard again. He gets a long hand pass over towards Paul Kilgrim over towards CBC, but Scarborough have double banking players right across that centre, and McAdam gets a kick up towards the half-forward line, where CBC are trying to repel every attack of Scarborough's, but Gary Budd's in there trying to push the ball forward. Scrambly plays developing here as the ball's tapped over towards the Scarborough attacking players, but CBC are pretty strong down in that back line, trying to get out of trouble, and they do so. Gerard of CBC steadies play down, sees a lead up on the wing. McPhee of CBC, who's played pretty well all day today.
Oh, don't know how he got that,
Tom.
Tom.
Given a kick. Yeah, it's probably a debatable decision, but he's been given the kick right on the centre wing position, right in front of the main grandstand here at Lathlain Park. McPhee with a high kick, making it hard for his forwards. His only forward is outnumbered about 3-1, but the ball still is pushed to the back of the pack, where Hermans with Scarborough gains possession of the ball. He kicks to no one, and Matic of CBC.
Backed up by...
he's backed up by one of Gorsey of his teammate, and sees a lead further afield in their attack, and this has given them a big opportunity by one of their players in Brindley. He snaps onto the left boot, registers a minor score only, and as I said, mentioned, that's a first point at the 17-minute mark of the third quarter.
I think the umpires should have a look at this late tackling and reasonably high tackling by the CBC side, because the Colts are pretty volatile, and I feel they could this could get out of hand as the game progresses, and if Scarborough continually score. As we say, there's a short pass to a CBC player, and number 10 spins around. I think it's Brindley left on his own. Yes, Brindley again, who just hit a shot and got a point, was left on his own in the full back line there, and he shouldn't have any trouble about kicking this. Who was his director opposition player then, or the Scarborough player?
There's
Johnny
two Brindleys playing there, Johnny. I think it was one Brindley to the other Brindley, actually, 10 and 11 for CBC, who have both played pretty well.
If I'd called that, Tommy, you would have got me for drinking again. But as we say that, CBC bring up the major to take the Castle scoreboard to 9-14 Scarborough to 5-1 CBC.
Interesting to see Peter Dewar off the field, John. Thought he played a top half, first half.
So did I. Paul Dewar. I was very surprised at that. I thought he played very well. But Gary Zillner, I think Dodge used Gary Zillner once before in this situation before, and when he came on, as he has done this time, he is putting everything into it. So it might be a good thing. As we say that, the ball is bounced down in the centre. Bunga is in there, and Kim Barnard, his opposition overran the ball. He picked it up, handballed it out to Bunga. Oh, good play straight off the ground over the GC to Killer. Killer got caught. He handballed it away. CBC pick it up and along by Cant and Brindley. Yes, Brindley it was. Then got knocked by Terry. Bunga's still in there. Gee, he tries everything, this fella. Herms is going to go for this now. Unfortunately, Phil and Herms, a bit of a misunderstanding there, and there's this. Don't tell me it's Brindley again. Yes, Brindley dropped back to be uncontested. I think there might have been a bit of confusion between Phil and Herms on that occasion, because I think they were both going to fly for the ball out here on this half back flank for Scarborough. But say no more. As it turns out, it's going to be a major, and this revival by CBC is being allowed by Scarborough. I would actually say that Lee Govin's coming down onto the ball, and Lee's played such a fantastic game, he might be able to restore the Scarborough machine.
Yeah, just a lapse of concentration. I hope it's only a temporary one, because those things happen in finals, and when sides gets run on, we all know that it's very hard to stop a side with a run on. But that goal by CBC brought their score to 6-1, still trailing a fair way behind Scarborough, 9-14 at the 22-minute mark of the third quarter. I think we will have a fair bit of time on in this actual third quarter, but that lack of concentration, Johnny Whitten, I hope it's only going to be temporary. Do you think the boys will be able to steady it down again with Gov coming back on the board?
Yeah, well, Gov will make a big influence being on the ball. At Brindley, though, he's been damaging this quarter. He's kicked 2 goals in 3 minutes. So Dodger's going to have a look at that.
Yeah, so
Scarborough player has kept him down for 2 quarters, so you can't really say much against him. Umpire bounces the ball, Gov up. CBC win the knockout. Comes Terry McAdam coming through, but CBC get it. By it, no one tackling him. Drives it long down to their forward pocket. Well, we see CBC come out with it. Swinged on to his left boot.
Sheesh. Set him up again.
And
I think he's... Ooh.
Brindley's got the ball, swinged onto his left foot. But it's nowhere. Scarborough's up. Oh,
He's kicked another one.
Tom, can you believe that?
It's another goal. I tell you what, Scarborough have got to get their mind back on this game, or they could very easily throw the big advantage that they've built up away in this. 3 goals in 3 minutes, and CBC are definitely well back in this game now, Johnny Rats.
The ball came out of that centre line so easily, as Widow called it. The man ran right across the centre line, and one Scarborough player just threw an arm out. That's no good. You've got to get the body behind it in finals.
Those three quick goals, Johnny, brought the score back to 25 point the difference, and obviously not one that cannot be reduced. They've got a possibility now.
That's definite, Tommy. Yeah, then we say that Kimmy Barnard's in there again, tries a punch, misses the ball. Ball comes out quite easy again by CBC. They're starting to run down as we've got CBC run straight into a man. Timmy McCallum ran straight into Turner, and that enabled Craig Lawrence to come through and retrieve. And with that, Timmy McCallum backed up well too. Kilgrim's got the ball on the wing, decided to settle down, play Gary Budd, gives him a lead. Oh, another drop mark by the big fella. But recovers well, gives it to Gary Zillner. Gary Zillner, I think, is playing for the kick. He's got to get into it a little bit more. Now they're all into it. The umpire will just wait. 15 went in there.
Scrambly play. That was
Lawrence threw himself on the top of the pack. Actually could have been pulled into gear, really, but the umpire sees fit to bounce the ball up. Now Lee Govan contesting, up he goes. It's a good knock over to Zillner. No, overruns it. Steve Summers is there again. Gilner backs up well, gets a hand pass over to Lee Govan. Lee Govan left foot, could go out of bounds. No, Bunga's there. They're contesting it. CBC man beats him. It goes over to Shelton and then down to Gorsey. This Gorsey's playing well too. Comes down, pinpoint. Oops, tried to pinpoint it. Kimmy Barnard chips in. Takes a good chest mark, kicks a long drop punt up to Paul de Grucci, who stands at the back of the pack and takes an easy mark.
I'll tell you what, we badly need this one, and de Grucci about 35 metres out, 25 minutes into this third quarter, and this is a steadying goal that Scarborough badly need.
I don't want to put the mocker on him, Tommy, but last week de Grucci came on and played absolutely tremendously well. Him and Big Stoney, who unfortunately isn't available today due to injury. As we say that,
through the eye little, and that was a goal that Scarborough badly needed to move them up to 10 goals 14 to CBC 7 goals 1, and well, as I said, badly needed, and definitely just stops that stem of play which CBC had built up their momentum a bit, Johnny, and we hope that the boys will be able to steady it down now with that. But I noticed the people that did steady the play down were the old experienced Colts in Barnard, Lawrence and Govan back again.
Timmy McCallum, as I called it earlier, Tommy, across the half-back flank, he came through, hit hard, and then followed the ball up with some good shepherding.
Yeah, as we say that, Lee Govan's been another big tap down towards the half-forward line, but the umpire scrambly play develops. The umpire says he'll have it. And I think as well as the weather getting a bit hot, the tempers are starting to flare, as things obviously do in finals, and
number 7 again, Cant, he's in everything.
The umpire has decided to give Cantor a free kick. Actually, couldn't see that one, but anyway, that's the way the umpire saw it. And Cant with a long left foot kick up towards their half-forward line, didn't really give his forwards any chance. The ball goes the way of Warhop. He gets the ball out towards Timmy McCallum of Scarborough. He's got an opportunity and passes it on, and Scarborough go long into the half-forward line, and there he is, de Grucci again. Starting to star in these final minutes.
Reminiscent of the prelim, Tommy, reminiscent of the prelim. He played well on that.
And Paul de Grucci too far out to score, but let's go with a big kick. He didn't get the direction he required. Out of bounds on the full. And CBC to bring the ball back into play deep in the back pocket.
You're on the 26-minute mark. It'd be handy. Another goal here would be very handy, but as I say, that's a long kick out, and there's been an infringement by Kyle once again, and it's over to Matic. And Matic is going to drive the ball left foot, no, it doesn't drive it very far, down to Lee Govan actually. Lee's in front of the pack, takes another timely mark. And as we say that, the siren's gone for the three-quarter time, and Scarborough lead, as you can see by the scoreboard there, 10-14, 74 to a 7-1.
And as we welcome you back to the for the last quarter of this 1983 grand final between Scarborough and CBC, once again we read the score 10-14 to 7-1, with the umpire Cordy just about to bounce the ball to commence this last quarter of this grand final. The tap goes away of Scarborough, who again, that man Govan again, as the ball goes out towards Barnard, hooks onto the left boot, ball drifts out towards the outer side of the ground. Where CBC have an opportunity, but the umpire's picked out an infringement. No, the ball's been called over the line and out of bounds on the centre wing position, slightly Scarborough's way. There's a CBC attacking man in Gerard again, as he hooks onto the boot up towards his side's forward line, but that attack's been repelled by McCallum it is actually, who takes a strong mark and drives the ball up towards Scarborough's attacking zone. Good mark by Mike Pearson. Leads everywhere on the Scarborough's attacking zone, as they know that they've virtually got this grand final won as long as they keep their concentration. The ball's up towards the forward pocket. Looked like a bit of a mark to Scarborough, but the umpire decides that it wasn't quite held long enough, and decides that he'll bounce it instead. That's the way it goes. The ball's tapped into the open spaces, but coming through very, very strongly is Dewar back on the ground again. And the ball has been pushed up towards the Scarborough's forward zone, but the opportunity through Mitchell of CBC to repel that attack. He does just that with a long kick up towards the centre of the ground. Again, the numbers are favouring Scarborough's advantage as they gain possession of the ball, and with a short pass by Kilgram, gets the ball up towards an opportunity, but Gorsey again, who is featured among CBC's better players, doesn't quite do things right that time, puts the ball out of bounds, for a kick. No, it's bounced just before it went out of bounds.
Yeah, Gorsey came out of the half-back line, then Tommy had nothing to kick to. Lee Govin's in there with the big fella, Koza, their old sparring partners. Govin comes out with it once again, drives it long and hard down to Grooch. Grooch has got the back sitting, and as we say, Gerard reads the crumbs with a high kick up to Scarborough centre half forward. Steve Summers takes a very strong mark. He will go
well since half-time, Johnny.
He's played extremely well, Tommy. The three-quarter time, Dewar came on and Dotty off, and Gavin Radford and Bunga are off the ground. As you say that, there's a long
mongrel kick, I think.
Yeah,
really
well,
towards the forward line.
What could I call
really
it?
Give the forwards an opportunity.
Craig Lawrence is in there again, overruns the ball and dives back on it. He's been a good player all day, never stops trying. I think the Scarborough forwards have got to try and get in front a little bit. They've dropped their heads a bit down there. Govin's up, punches it out. Craig Lawrence is in there again. Steve Summers has got the run of the ball, and Dotty's over there trying to give him some sort of assistance. Good use of the body by Steve Summers. Sees him, is positioning himself to get a push in the back. Now he's going back. He can't kick the distance, I would say, but he's going to have a good lash at it. A wobbly tour, no one in front. What did I say a moment ago, Widow?
Yeah, that's true, Tom. They've got to get in front. CBC are just in front all the time, and Scarborough, no way can they get the marks from the behind. Paul Dodd picks it up, fires it in towards Paul de Grucci. Paul de Grucci, a top mark. Paul de Grucci, very valuable player.
Good use of the body there, Widow.
Very good.
15 yards, I reckon, there, just about.
He got dropped after he got the mark. He should have got 15, but the umpire's chosen not to give it to him.
He would have learnt those tricks off his old man.
Yeah. Well, Paul de Grucci would probably be about 30 yards out on an acute angle on his wrong kicking foot, but he has a shot off the side of the boot.
It went where he aimed it, Widow.
Yep, that's true. He didn't really take a line up very well.
They seem to be playing well within themselves and possibly a little bit overconfident at the present time. They seem to think that they have it won, and finals are funny things. With a bit of a run on, CBC could come back as they did in that third quarter, Widow.
Yeah, well, John, they've had probably 70% of the play for most of the game.
Jeez, he went over the mark. Over the mark.
And the fullbacks kicked over the mark, so the umpire's going to bounce it right on the square for Scarborough. Waiting for the ball to come back. Well, goal will be very, very handy here, Tom.
Yes, definitely Widow, actually, and a bad mistake by the fullback in Mitchell there to cross over the line, and the umpire decides to bounce it.
Come on.
CBC get the advantage of the tap, and but it goes astray, and Scarborough have an opportunity to score again, but it was Craig Lawrence coming down there, wasn't it? And a good effort, but again, CBC Mitchell down there took a steadying mark in defence.
I'd like to see that young Bengoff on again, because I think he puts a lot more into it than the fellow who's just taking his posse at the moment.
Adds a bit of bite around the packs, definitely, Johnny, doesn't he?
Oh, tough little fella, yeah.
Anyway, as we say that, the ball's been given over to a Shelton of CBC. Passes over towards a teammate, but they've got no one down there, and a kick behind the play, and GC has taken the mark in Carr of Scarborough. Up towards that, just over the centre line, and Bud for Scarborough. Ooh, I tell you what, the CBC man came through very solidly and gave his player an opportunity to get out of their problems, and he definitely has done that, and he's over towards his teammate. The ball doesn't go quite for him in McPhee. McPhee's in all sorts of trouble now as he gets the ball over towards Lawrence, his teammate, who passes over towards Dobson. Dobson sees a short pass up towards his teammate up there in Lawrence, and Lawrence has taken the mark. He decides to go long, but it's all Scarborough there, and there he is in defence. Fabulous Phil, I think it is, isn't it, down there? And he played a very good first half. Didn't probably have the opportunities in the third quarter, but he's been a serviceable player for Scarborough. Up towards that man again, Govan.
Smart league up.
Probably undoubtedly BOG today, and a top game by this player once again. Over towards teammates, two Scarborough players. Dewar, he grabs the ball just before it goes out of bounds, and luckily he did get the ball quickly onto his boot over towards Dowd of Scarborough. He misjudges, gives Brindley a chance. Brindley of CBC gets the ball over towards Kylie, is it? No, Bud. He's up towards the half-forward line. Mike Pearson, there he is again.
That was a good kick by Kylie that time. Tommy, he took a bit of time to have a look this time.
Yeah, good play by Pearson.
Gary
Takes the
Zillner,
ball up, and who's taken that? Gary Zillner again, who has featured prominently in this second half of play. And Gary Zillner, I suppose, wouldn't be without a chance, Johnny Widow, of kicking this.
Well, tell you what, Tom, he has kicked it.
Just as I said that, it goes straight through the centre, And another goal on the board. 11 goals, 15 to 7 goals, 1 and without being too cautious, I suppose, but really they should not lose a game from here, boys.
I've got to tell the timekeeper the game started, Tommy. We rely on him a bit too much. We better take it ourselves from here. Yeah, the Castle Hotel scoreboard is looking very favourable for Scarborough at this particular stage of the last quarter, the 1983 grand final. We have Gorsey, is it? No, Koza. The big Koza's on the ball, rucking against Kylie O'Callaghan. Kylie, up he goes, knocks it down, good palm. CBC shark it. Dowd just didn't seem too interested in that. Timmy McCallum, good effort. Gets a bit of a knock after kicking the ball. Silly play. Don't tell him, Tim. Just shake his hand. That's a shot. So Peter Dewar, he's got a bundle of kicks just in the couple of minutes he's been on too. He'll go long, even though Timmy McCallum's decided to run down and give him something. Kicks it long up to Gary Budd. He's camped underneath it. CBC go high. Now comes Gorsey again. He's got the run of the ball. No one wants to tackle him. Steve Summers is looking tight. He's played well though. The ball's been kicked high up to GC and CBC in Riki. Riki does well. Traps the ball. Gives it to his captain. His captain's in trouble. Ledger, he doesn't want it. Chucks it away in turn. They get it out eventually. Up they go to the half-forward line. Full is dropping back. Oh, good, courageous mark. Sees fit to get a rack across the ears. That won't worry him. He's Joe Cool, this bloke. He'll go back and he'll kick it long. He's got the leads out on the wing there. Someone standing still. GC, get underneath it. No. CBC have gone through virtually uncontested. This goes up to the big fella Koza. Oh, he's taken straight forward, dropping the ball. He won't like that. He's been known to get a bit grumpy. He and Lee Governor at it all the time. And Silly Matic, the Slav coming out on the CBC side, they've seen fit to go across and cause an altercation here. That won't worry Gary Zillner. He kicks the ball. It's a good pass to Steve Summers. Up he goes. He's got to play two fellas out here. Does it well. Chucks himself on the ball, commits his body, and the ball is pushed over the line now to bounds. Good effort, eh, Widow?
Yeah, very good. Stephen Summers a good player, and Gary Zillner took it strong tackle then and got a free kick. Umpire throws it in. Cole goes up, but he's infringement away. So CBC to take the kick. It's about the centre line. CBC drive it forward, looking for number CBC in Koza. But Koza dropped a mark that he should have taken. Very lucky, Scarborough.
Probably thought Lee Govern was hanging around him somewhere.
Yeah. Boundary up, throws it in.
Kylie's got
up again. Well played, Kyle. Good handball over to Kim Barnard. Long handball over to Steve Summers. Steve Summers, another handball over to Scarborough.
Something this time, this bloke.
That's
Good tackle
Widow.
by CBC.
Good play by Dowd of Scarborough then.
And another good tackle by Dodd. Oh, Tom, what do you reckon about that one?
Yes,
That's too far out the other side of the ground. Tommy can't see that, Widow. I think Dowdy came from behind the player actually anyway.
I know the CBC have got a player down.
yeah, Koza's still in everything over there anyway, fighting it out for his side. As I said, he's been the temperamental one from the CBC point of view, hasn't he? Him and Govan, as we mentioned, have clashed during the earlier matches in the season again today.
Yeah, but Koza's off the ball, on the ball because Govern's off it, I think. Widow, what do you think?
Yep. Well, Lee Govan, as we all know, he likes to have a bit of a mingle.
Yeah, well, the last two games, inclusive of this one, he's played very, very well.
As we say that, the ball's been kicked down towards the Scarborough centre line position, and again, it's very scrambly play. Maybe the conditions, the hot weather conditions, starting to tell on the players who are just certainly starting to lack in that yard of pace. But Scarborough managed to get the ball down to their half-forward line, but the boy's been repelled. And Hermans, is it, that came out very solidly and got the ball out of trouble for Scarborough.
Yeah, Phil Hall went up there and tried to take the specky, and when it did come down, he recovered well and shepherded Herms out of the way, allowing Herms to come through. Very good play. CBC's skipper grabs the ball on the wing and kicks it down high, up, probably Brindley was it? I'll just call it as Brindley because he's always around the place. Went up high, it's gone over to O'Keefe. O'Keefe goes around on his right foot, stems it into Darren Leach. Darren Leach just stretches that little body of his and knocks the ball away. And CBC are under pressure here. Well recovered, and Darren Leach once again's in there. Well done. He kept the pressure on him all the time, and it saw fit was through for a point. The central umpire was just querying that, and unfortunately he's seen fit that Darren Leach tackled that man after he kicked the ball. Very touch and go, but take nothing away from Darren Leach because he fought very hard on those two occasions that he was put under pressure.
Yeah, that was a bit weak, Johnny, I think.
Yeah, well, Jay Lawrence... well, he hasn't done all that much. He's been in a couple of scruffles. Just see how he goes with this.
Well, that's all he plays footy for, I think, John.
Righto, now he's lining it up. Kylie's giving him a heap there on the boundary line. That's enough to put anyone. No, it hasn't. It's going to say it'll put someone off. But CBC 8-1 Scarborough 11:15 on the Castle Hotel scoreboard. I don't know how long we'd have left in this. Has anyone
Yeah, I just quickly, only guessing because the time clock on the far side of the ground isn't working, but I think we've been playing about 8 to 10 minutes, so possibly another 15 minutes of play still to go. I don't think the CBC boys, they look very tired as a Scarborough in these conditions. The last 4 or 5 weeks we've been playing in a lot different conditions than this, and this is obviously going to tell on all players. And as I say that, the umpire bounces the ball, Kylie gets a tap. CBC aren't giving in. They're not going to chuck this grand final away without a big fight and again drive the ball into a touch, but Darren Leach again, he eyes on the ball in front of him, in front of Lawrence. Lawrence for CBC, who kicked that last goal, he puts himself right on top of the ball. Scrambly play develops, the umpire says he'll have it and bounce the ball on the half-forward flank for CBC. And all the big men gather down there, the packs develop. It's going to be hard to get the ball out of there as Kyle, who's starting to ruck very strongly for Scarborough, gets the ball down. The umpire sees a free kick. Oh, I tell you what, that was a debatable decision. It seemed to be the other way, but anyway, O'Keefe of CBC, he gets the ball over, but Carr of Scarborough takes a steadying mark at the vital time and takes a mark at the half-back, centre-half-back flank. Centre-half-back for Scarborough.
You called it well there at the vital time because they're getting a bit hot under the collar. You say that Pearson goes up and just misses a quite a well-judged mark, gets the ball over to Gilner, in turn Peter Dewar. Oh, the ball goes down to half-forward. Steve Summers goes straight through, and the umpire has called it too high. Steve Summers, to me, I thought he was just protecting himself. But
I didn't see an elbow there, John. That's what the umpire reckons a free kick's for.
That's not the big fella, is it? Kozer?
Tell you what, he doesn't look too well.
Yeah, I think it is Kozer.
Yeah, I think it is Kozer.
It's like David and Goliath, isn't it?
Steve Summers just braced himself then and went straight through. Bit unfortunate to give a free kick away, but
it's definitely Kozer. He doesn't look too well at all. I don't know whether he'll be able to take the kick or not. He seems to have recovered sufficiently enough to do that. In fact, he's recovered real well, has a bounce even, and drives the ball back out over towards the Brindley on the centre wing position. His teammate has taken the mark deep out on that wing department. He's looking further afield for a lead, but Scarborough seem to have the numbers there, double banking across that half-back line, and that's the way it goes. And McAdam takes a strong mark for Scarborough, and he's repelled many attacks today, McAdam, and featured among their better players. The umpire wasn't quite sure what was going on, but decides that McAdam decides he'll kick long anyway, up towards the half-forward line. Gary Budd's taken a strong mark, and he'll look further afield. The leads are everywhere as he misjudges a kick, unfortunately, kicks it straight to the opposition, who again return it back to the CBC half-forward. Kick-to-kick is developing out here at the moment. This is the opportunity for McCallum. McCallum sees a lead out on the wing department, and this is better football by Scarborough as Kilgrim's got the opportunity, sees a short pass up further afield, and that's good play by Pearson. Pearson's got a man loose in the square. That's the way the kick goes. Might go over, all depends on the way it breaks. The ball bounces through, and it's a goal. Magnificent play by Scarborough. Good play there. It came from that McAdam back there in the back line, right down this wing in front of the grandstand, and good open football and a steadying goal again, and Scarborough seem to be able to do that, Widow, every time that CBC look like they're dangerous.
Well, once again, Paul Kilgrim in the picture. He's been a brilliant player all day. He's just been getting out in his own on his wing. Doesn't get sucked into the play like a lot of wingmen, but he's just been there all day, and he was right involved with that goal. Waiting for the umpire to bounce again. We got Lee Govan back on the ball. Scarborough Colts fairest and best this year. Bad bounce, couldn't get a chance. Paul Dodd out with a good play. Short left foot looking for Steve Summers. Finds Steve Summers, who'll slow the game up. Well, I think it's all over at this stage, Johnny.
Yeah, it's looking very good for us. I think he'll kick the ball long. De Grooch is down. Oh, gee whiz, the legs are getting tied. The kicking's fallen off dramatically. Kyle's in there, front berth, the scrum. He'll probably go up for this, but there are some tired guys out there at the moment. Gary Budd, I see, having a little bit of trouble with his opponent. They keep
Steve Summers down with cramp.
Pushing each other over. Yes, Steve Summers is down. Well, it's a hot day, and it wears you down after a while. CBC come out for the ball after that bounce down, directed up into the centre of the ground where Terry McAdam fronts the ball. His man comes through, hip and shoulder, breaks through the pack. McAdam follows it up, does well to knock it out. Kilgrim's got hold of it. Timmy McCallum was doing some good shepherding there. They've kicked the ball down long to centre half forward, where CBC are going to repel this tack through the agency of Caloraro or something, Tommy. Anyway, it goes out to the wing. Scarborough do well with the use of the body. Craig Lawrence comes around, grabs on his left foot, a beautiful pass to Gary Budd. And Gary Budd would be 55 metres out in that half-forward flank. He's played on. He's in a bit of trouble. Comes around, screws it down, no, Kyle's at the back again. And he's in contest with the big Koza, who was on the ground for a little while a moment ago. He kicks the ball short out to their half-back flank. The man plays on, runs around the skipper. He's in trouble. Craig Lawrence has picked up the crumbs on a left foot, comes down the half-forward line, drills it across to Steve Summers. Takes a good mark, virtually right on the 50-metre mark. He won't make the distance. The legs are tight, as I said. Paul de Grucci's camped underneath it. He's fighting two men. Koza picks up the crumbs very slowly, slow too. On the right foot, goes out, defensive play out to their half-back flank, and in comes Calavaro. He kicks the ball up to the wing, and O'Keefe's there. He's fighting for it. He's done well to get around one Scarborough, two Scarborough guys. Gets it up to his Ricky up on the wing there. He runs around GC. Open territory, drills it up to centre half forward. Oh, Phil Hall goes up to take a beautiful, well-judged mark to pull it up in just about the last line of defence. There weren't too many players behind him.
No, and as we say that, Hall gets Scarborough out of trouble with the scrambly sort of kick players who'll overrun the ball everywhere, but Scarborough seem to have a few more legs than CBC at this stage in these conditions and drive the ball into their attacking zone. Out comes CBC through Collins. Collins gets the ball up towards their half-forward line where they have 2-1 against Scarborough, but Leach for Scarborough puts the ball in front of him. Eyes on the ball, possession of the ball, magnificent football, magnificent play, and gets the ball up towards the centre wing position and Scarborough out of attack. Courageous play by Leach then. He had only one thing in mind, and as I say that, I see a player from CBC having a go at Budd there and trying to kick him. Things are going to get out of hand here soon, I think, unless the umpire picks up a free kick. He's done just that, because that player's been having a go at Buddy for about 5 minutes, actually, and well picked up by the umpire.
The finger in the smile, Tom.
Yep, Budd on the centre wing. Long kick up towards the, they're making it hard for their half-forwards with these big high kicks into the forward line. Steve Summers got a trip and will receive the free kick just forward of the centre wing position. No leads offering with a torpedo punt up there towards, there he is, that man. Who is it? It's de Grucci again, who's, as we've mentioned many a time in this commentary of the second half, has featured prominently in this second half of football and taken some very strong marks. He could nearly kick this goal, and he's
just off.
He's got the distance, just offline, brings up a point.
That was good fighting play though, Tom. Darren Leach, Timmy McCallum, all the way down here. Gary Budd is having a little bit of trouble with that turn, or Turner's having trouble with him, whichever way you'd like to look at it. Good fighting play and good contributing by all the Scarborough players at that stage.
Yes, they can sense victory in this 1983 grand final, and we've mentioned before, Scarborough have never ever won a premiership.
Well,
in
red
Colts.
off the pack.
Here's an opportunity to bring up another goal, but the ball has been pushed offline. In fact, it's gone out of bounds on the full, actually.
Now Kim Barnard down with cramp.
Kimmy Barnard, though, I think there will be a few more in these next 10 or so minutes. The runners have been working overtime, but as we say, a player notable omission today. Widow is a player that's played with them all year in Stoney. It must be very sad for him to be sitting on the sidelines watching a game where he's featured so hard in getting the side into the grand final.
He was mentioned as a interchange player, but Dodge must have given him a fitness test this morning. Obviously didn't come through, which is very unfortunate.
All he did was go down in his crutches, and Dodger just saw fit not to play him.
He's on crutches, did he, JR?
Yeah, made it hard for him to pass a fitness test. Widow with a bloody crutches.
Well, how am I meant to know? No one fills me in before the game.
Dodger's the only one to use crutches.
You just got filled in then, if you haven't been filled in before, Widow, anyway. But as we say, that
bit of shepherding there by Budd, and I think it's O'Keefe to take that kick from their half-back line. Looking upfield, nothing much offering. CBC aren't really trying their hardest to get into this. Steve Summers goes high, as does Terry. Terry follows the ball along. Peter's in there. Peter gets across to Steve Summers. Steve Summers will fire it into Lee Govan, who's stretching out. Well done, Lee Govan. He went to play on. The umpire didn't know that. He is now. Yes, he's got dropped. He'll go for the long kick. It's a wobbly, short one, unfortunately. Pooch is camped underneath it. He thought it was going to come longer than that, and well, it might have. Lee Govan follows through, tries to take that player out. CBC come through with it up to the centre of the ground. Terry McCallum tries to take one on his chest. Well backed up by GC. Oh, good shepherding in there by Peter Dewar too. Gary Zillner's in this. He overruns the ball. So does his man. In comes Warshop for CBC.
That's his brother, War.
Is it?
Yeah. Anyway, he gets a player ball over towards his teammate. Loose play by Scarborough in their defence this time and gives Cant the opportunity to drive CBC deep into attack. That's just what he does with a long drop punt up towards the full forward line. There's an opportunity for CBC to add to their tally, but the Scarborough defence very solid at this stage. They're going to repel any attack, and the ball is pushed over towards Kilgrim. Kilgrim sees a lead up towards the centre wing position, and Kimmy Barnard takes a steadying mark. He sees a lead over towards Timmy McCallum. McCallum takes a mark, and with quick hand pass, that's quick thinking. Good play by McCallum. Gets the ball on in towards the Scarborough forward line, and that Mike Pearson, he's played very well all today.
He could kick this, Tom. Not beyond his capabilities.
Yeah,
But he's come a long way to play in this game, hasn't he?
Oh, Lathlain Park's not that far. I suppose it's probably further than Millington, but still.
I think Dodge paid his fare from Norseman. That's a good kick, floating off to the right-hand side. Oh, hit the post. A good kick. That was on the 50-metre mark as well.
Geez, he must be a good player if Dodge paid anything towards getting him down. It's very hard to get anything from Dodge, isn't it?
Oh, I think Dodge will ask us for the money afterwards. Don't worry about that.
Well, Tom, how much time would there be left? Couldn't be too much.
No, I think they've been playing about 17 minutes, according to my calculations. And but anyway, that gives it about 3 minutes plus time on. But plenty of time for Scarborough
Kyle straight through
to add a few more goals to their tally.
Well done, Kyle. He ran that right out, even though CBC had control of the ball through McPhee, who eventually ended up with their centre half forward. But well run, Kyle. Now this chap's virtually on the 50-metre mark. He'll go back with a long torpedo. And it's a beautiful kick too. It's just going to fall short. Darren's underneath it. Good knock away. CBC pick up the crumb, screw it over the shoulder, and that will bring up CBC's 9th goal. 9-1 to Scarborough's 12-17. It's a very handy goal, but I think it's a little bit late.
They fought it out very well, CBC, but in this game we must remember back 12 months ago to when we did a video of the 1982 grand final at Lathlain Park, and this must be sweet revenge for Coach Gordon Roger, who in that game, I think we joined the commentary at the half-time mark, his side hadn't kicked a goal, and it wasn't until 10 minutes into that third quarter when Gary Butt, I think, kicked a goal and brought the first goal on the board for Scarborough. It was a very disappointing year last year. Dodgers worked very hard in coaching this side and built up a very close-knit team, and we can see here today that they're simply outclassed, I think, the CBC fellas, and their determination has reflected good coaching qualities on Dodgers on behalf, Johnny.
Yeah, very well spoken, Tommy, and yeah, I support that statement in full. Scarborough are showing tremendous talent and strength and fortitude for the club. They're tied, you can see that. It's probably the magnificent breakfast they had at the Castle Hotel this morning that's given them all the strength. They've fought the ball out of that centre line for that bounce down, and Craig Lawrence is now lining up with a left foot drop punt that will change the Castle. Oh, well, it won't because it's fallen short, but Paul de Grucci's fighting 3 men there. Got the front berth, could have been given it. CBC clear it out to Killer. Killer's turned around, hand pass. He's going to get it again. Michael Pearson pulled over the shoulder, and there it is. The 1983 Colts Grand Final. The final scores on the Castle Hotel scoreboard: 12-17, 89 to 9-1, 55. And it, unfortunately, the big Coes has just come on the ground and seen fit to say a few words to Lee Govan. But unfortunately, it's all over. Gary Budd's going to go up and shake his hand. Let's see if the big fella does. No, he will not. That's very, very poor sportsmanship on the part of CBC. But full congratulations to each and every one of the 20 players in the Scarborough side, and congratulations to Gordon Roger.
And definitely Mel Barnes as well, who was manager of the side for this whole season, and has put in 3 or 4 years to get behind these sides, and it's fitting result that this has been...
Very ugly incident going on down the bottom here, Tom.
Blemish in front of the main grandstand here. There's fisticuffs developing, very ugly scenes, and very poor sportsmanship on behalf of CBC, but the results are on the board. Scarborough have won the 1983 grand final. The boys, the whole 20 of them who have played today, will not forget this day, and congratulations to, as I said before, Gordon Roger, Mel Barnes, and everyone who has supported the Colts in their endeavour to bring this premiership, the first ever, to Scarborough's rooms.
And there's all the Scarborough players congratulating Gordon Roger. See Mel Barnes is walking around. Gordon Roger is getting congratulations. Mel Barnes is walking around here congratulating the players. They've done extremely well to win this. Bear in mind, this is the first grand final, first premiership grand final for the Colts, and it's tremendous. They worked it out. They played hard all day, and as we say, we'll just run through a few of the better players. And my suggestion would be that the 1983 fairest and best winner Lee Govan once again has risen to greater heights than he showed early in the season, though he didn't play all that many games. What a tremendous 4 quarters of football. Absolutely superlative. He was backed up by Craig Lawrence, well, there's a list of them, Peter Dewar, Kimmy Barnard. Well, we could go right through the back line. Herms and those guys, Phil Hall, they all played well. GC across the half back line. Gary Zillner when he came on. Virtually, you could just put it down to a full team effort. Dodge is just having a word to him now. He's probably telling them what they should have done. But they did it well for him. And the Castle Hotel scoreboard just shows the results. There'll be a banner hanging on the footy club down at Millington tonight, and there'll be very happy faces.
As we say that, we'll just sign off, I think, Johnny, and with the final score of this 1983 grand final, where Scarborough won, as we mentioned before, quite convincingly, and I'd just like to congratulate, as I said, to everyone involved with the Colts. Thanks very much, and we'll join you again soon for the big game this afternoon, the league game between Scarborough versus CBC.